Hello and welcome to this podcast where we talk about Fellowship of the Ring. I think this is the last of our trilogies, is it, Johnny?
What, just the Fellowship of the Ring, not the other two?
No.
Lord of the Rings.
No,
Well, it's
we'll do
the
them
last
in other
introduction
parts.
episode of the film.
This isn't even, the Quad-Trilogy. Is that what the overall thing's called?
I think
No, it's
it
called 12 Angry Films, Jono. Bring it back.
Anyway, yeah. So I picked. This was my pick.
Apparently.
It's kind of lost some identity of who was picked.
I don't think anyone was picking
We just
him.
decided.
No,
Yeah.
I had this conversation with you, Tony, and I promised you. Basically, we picked the trilogy, even though we didn't really, because Harry just picked the other three and said, "You know what, Tony, you can have that one." And Jonathan has this
Yeah,
one."
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But technically, I think this is Jonathan's trilogy, and
this
Indiana
is-
Jones is your trilogy. Yeah.
Okay.
We just found the best four trilogies. We're like,
Yeah.
alright, we're doing them.
Yeah, no. I mean, this would have been the trilogy I picked anyway. Yeah. So this is the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and this specifically is the first one. Of course, with the Lord of the Rings, you've got your theatrical and extended editions that change it from being a really long film to being a really long film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the things you go to if you're thinking of some of the best translations of a book to film.
Mhm.
Like The Lord of the Rings is often cited for its. Look at me, cited. Wow. Okay. Yeah, often cited for its being potentially one of the best conversions between the genres. I just similar with Star Wars. I just kind of know Lord of the Rings and the universe just pretty damn well.
You hang out a lot with Matt Baker.
I bet we'll listen to this one. It's the first one we'll listen to. We'll get a notification when it's fine. It's like on Fellowship of the Ring.
Well, we should do something rated to QI afterwards, and that way he'll stay for even longer.
And Mortal Engine.
No.
Peter Jackson. We'll bring it back around.
That was my favourite trailer, it was just Peter Jackson describing why he likes Mortal Engine.
Is that based on work then?
Books.
Yeah.
Oh,
Apparently the books are okay.
Yeah, books
Yeah,
are
yeah,
alright.
books
I've read the first one
Yeah.
and a
I
half.
mean, they sound like interesting concepts, but then I saw the trailer and I was like,
It's one of those things
Hugo
where
Weaving, why?
like the idea of a city on wheels can really only work in your head and not in CGI is I think one of the problems with it.
Probably would be quite a good anime, actually. Sounds
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
crackpot enough. To be a good anime.
This Howl's Moving Castle, but bigger and rated 18,
Yeah.
which would be cool.
Imagine Christian Bale and Mortal Engine.
Oh,
I think Kristen Bell in anything, to be fair.
Maybe not like a Holocaust drama. I feel like he'd pretty be out of place though.
Imagine Christian
Feel like he could
Bale
pull it off.
in the Fellowship of the Ring.
Who would he play?
This is Mortal Engines.
I think Boromir. Cast Christian Bale in Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, I think he'd
No,
be,
he
I think he'd be
multi-rolls
quite-
as Boromir and Faramir.
No, he'd be quite a good. I think he'd be quite a good Pippin. I think. Just imagine Christian Bale like backing into like a stone and it just falls down a well. And Boromir. No, I think he'd make a good Aragorn. Actually, he's handsome enough and
No,
cool
no.
enough.
He's
to do
too kind of creepy there. Something off about Christian Bale. Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
like a really like forgotten character that isn't shown on screen that he could
it.
like
Tom Bombadil. Is he in the extended edition? Is that
No,
what that
Tom
extra hour is?
Bombadil's not in.
Yeah, he's one of the one of the few things. It's the thing I think they get told off the most of by fans for cutting, basically, because a lot of fans, appreciate Tom Bombadil.
Yeah, but you'd have to be a hardcore Tolkien fan because I've read the book and the worst chapter is meeting Tom Bombadil and his wife in the forest because it's so boring.
I think it's very interesting just because he's an interesting character to meet just because he's kind of above everything.
Well, just
It's
because
his
he's
ultimate
able to be
power.
resistant to the ring, is that it as well?
I mean, throughout the film and books, basically Frodo goes around going, "Will you take the ring?" And everyone's just like, "No."
No,
Yeah.
But the one person who wants to give him the ring, Boromir, who he just never offers it to. But literally, I'm pretty sure probably in the extended edition, he just offers it to like
Yeah.
Parliament Butterbeer, everyone just.
How many
Yeah.
extra times does Frodo fall over in the extended
Falls
edition?
over quite a few times, to be fair. I think I don't know if there was any big scene that I'm like, oh, I've never seen that before. I think everything is just maybe just slightly stretched out because to condense it to theatrical release. I know they cut a few things in later films that I like anyway.
I would be quite interested to. I mean, obviously you've not seen the version that we watched, so you can't really tell us. But I would be interested to hear what that extra hour is. If it is just scenes in between Rivendell and the Mines of Moria, but just more of them.
The Fellowship Extended Edition is the one extended edition I saw, and I felt like it didn't add enough to justify watching the other two. But it is just a bit more texture, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you already like the film, then it's just more film. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. It changes how the opening works a bit. Just you get more of Hobbiton as well. That's something. You end up with the title card appears over Hobbiton, I think, instead of how it does in this one, just on a blank screen, just sort of before you get much of an idea of that whole thing.
Well, doesn't it open with the backstory about Sauron?
Yes, yeah. Originally that wasn't going to be put in the film, but then people were just like, we'd like some context.
Yeah, I really like it. Because, like, should we talk about Fellowship more widely then?
Yeah.
Just quick,
rather than just about Mortal Engines.
Yeah. Just quickly about the trilogy thing. Like, I'm pretty sure we've all accepted Lord of the Rings is the one that's going to fight Star Wars for the title of the best trilogy. Because these are consistently great films. And I'm sure we'll have lots of arguments about which is the best and which is the worst. But, like, they're all very similar.
Yeah. And I think there are ones where, like, none of us are going to turn around and go, actually, no, it's a 5. Like, none of us are gonna surprise each other with too low a score.
It's been a while since I've seen The Two Towers, but I don't remember it particularly fondly compared to the other two. But I am sure it is still quite high.
Yeah,
We've got Helm's Deep.
But exactly, that's okay. I know what you're gonna say. I'm gonna say, oh yeah, but it's just Helm's Deep. That's the only great thing about it. And then you'll say, yeah, but it's still Helm's Deep.
Yeah, that's like being like, oh, it's just hot. Come on, Helm's Deep.
I mean,
there are other good things in.
I don't know about that. I mean, not from what I remember anyway.
It's Treebeard.
Oh, Treebeard.
The salted pork's especially good. What accent?
I love the way he tricks him. He's like, they'll never see it coming. Like, no one can do it.
Yeah.
No, I like the idea with the first one, getting a group of 9 different people from different races and having them mixed together. That's what I like about the first one. And the third one has, well, completion of the journey. The second one just seems like a middleman to me, and I don't feel like it
am interested to see, like, because, the films are sort of blurred into one for me over time. I'm like, yeah, this film ends, like, Frodo's practically at Mordor, it seems like.
That's the thing. Again, if you look on a map, he's gone really far.
Okay.
There's, like, all he's got now is to go through
the Dead Marshes.
Yeah, well, there's a
bit
of
that's true.
Bit of rocks and then the
Very
Dead
sharp
Marshes.
rocks.
Yeah.
Admittedly, he does take a detour. And
they get to the Black Gate at some point as well, whereas they can't go through that and have to go around the long way. But exactly, that's the thing. And Gollum is meant to come along and guide them the way, but he just slows them down, doesn't he? If you think about it.
And then there's that whole thing where they get sent the other way, and
Yeah. Actually, no. Gollum is. I guess Gollum. The addition of Gollum in the second one does make it quite good.
Also, I like that the part. I mean, it's good that they're all together, but because when they're split up for pacing reasons, it works better. There's always something exciting happening. I have no idea what the pacing Two Towers is going to be in the extended film.
I mean, for the pacing of this one, Fellowship, because it's on 2 discs as well, because it's DVD, right? I watched each disc on a different day, so technically this is going to be like 6 films for me. Fucking Harry Potter or something. And I think it's still really paced really well, because I was like, all right, my new thing is seeing how long it takes anything to just get to the point, right? Like, establish like all the setup you need to tell you what the whole thing's gonna be about. And this, I was like, all right, I checked the time where it's like fully like we have to go destroy the ring somewhere, whatever, keep it away from bad guy Sauron, and it's like only like 40-ish minutes in, which actually isn't too bad. So, I think it keeps up a good pace for how protracted it is.
It's a better pace than the books, because one of the things that because like Frodo's like 18, I think, at the start, and then Bilbo goes off, and then Gandalf's like, oh well, here's the ring. I'm just gonna go and research it for a bit. He comes back when Frodo is 33.
Yeah. So, alright, yes.
Whoa.
So, I will admit.
I think it was like a day in like the film.
Well, that's the thing. In the books, Gandalf goes away to research into the ring at Minas Tirith and then comes back. So that's quite a long part. So
he goes to research, finds like the one thing. He's like, shit.
That's quite good. But no, I completely agree. I think the films are a lot better paced, and I think that it does a good job of keeping you going along rather than spending too much time in one place. But for someone who loves the world of Middle-earth and wants to spend as much time in it as possible, I really like how slow the books are. I really like exploring every location as much as I possibly can.
This isn't bashing the books. It's just sort of saying, but it's got I was surprised by how good the pacing was, especially with this one, because I think that's why I'm expecting why I'll like Two Towers more than this one, and I already know I really like Return of the King. It's just because it's going to be straight in there. But yeah, I'm just there are bits that just amuse me a lot about this film. There are little things as well, just like in the introductory talk, Galadriel is just like, none alive remember this, and it's just like, wait, no, you remember this, you're alive. We're going to have a bit later where Elrond is going to remember how he was there when this happened. What are you on about?
You see that finger get cut off and burned to a crisp like 4 times. I love it.
Yeah. I was going to ask, so the extended edition, the one that has the extra hour, is that extra hour just more of Gandalf being thrown around and the doors closing on itself? They actually have the hour loop.
I think of the extra hour, like half an hour is just extra credits.
Right, fair enough.
Like that. Yeah,
that's probably true.
That is. They get the fan club. Everyone who's part of the Lord of the Rings fan club got credited.
Yeah. But it's quite a funny film.
Yeah,
that's a funny moment.
I do think that the extra hobbits, Merry and Pippin.
You guys find that way too funny.
I mean, even we're taking the piss out of the stupid things, but like they're genuinely there to just be like, it's a bit lighthearted at times.
Oh, could I just point out this? Just when in Moria, Pippin twists on an arrow, and then it just all falls down the well, clatters a lot, and Gandalf just turns round and basically just tells Pippin to kill himself. And that's not before Gandalf realizes that they've alerted every goblin that it's been silent. He thinks it's all right. It's only later that you've had it.
So this confirms my theory that Gandalf is just a bastard racist who hates hobbits. I mean, think about it. He comes along to Hobbiton and then just steals away hobbits without telling them what they're in for, and just says, "Hey, you have to come on a journey with me. You got no choice. You're gonna have to just come along."
He
ruins their lives.
One way that I read this film is Gandalf is constantly high on hobbit weed and just sells it around to other people. Just the opening on its own, just when Frodo hears Gandalf coming and just talks. It's just like they're both high, to be honest.
Keep your secrets.
Yeah, just their faces.
The laugh as well.
But I think even Saruman just comments on it,
the pipe weed. No, the love of the hobbit's leap has slowed your mind or something.
Yeah. Do you know how disappointed I was when they're outside Moria trying to get in, and that monster approaches, and someone doesn't say, "Kraken, Black Sails approach."
The Watcher in the water.
To compare to the other films we're doing, this starts with a massive birthday party, and The Godfather starts with a massive wedding. I think there's some similarities you could find there. Just how they're like this. It shows as a celebration to introduce you to all the characters.
If Aragorn was there, just add this Hobbit's party. If all the characters were there, Strider. It's also the villains as well, you just Sauron. Saruman, they go.
No, behind the tin, you just got the Balrog peering over onto the party.
Gollum following them.
Gollum's taking photos, they smash up his camera.
Sorry, Johnny, you said.
I was sort of moving on to a different area.
I was quickly going to say about how Saruman, he is very quickly introduced as friend and then very quickly betrays the team, even in the extended edition.
It's in the same scene, isn't it?
Yeah, he's like, old friend who much enjoyed Sauron. I don't know.
Can we just talk about that moment? where Ian McKellen is spinning on his head, and it somehow works.
I don't think it's too stupid. I think if they were to do it now, they.
Yeah, it is
I
quite
don't
stupid,
think.
I
I think if they were to do it now, like in the sort of superhero sort of Marvel age of how to adapt two powerful wizards fighting, it would look a bit too flashy, and you wouldn't really understand what's going on. It'd be like Doctor Strange, you just pull out random powers every time he fights someone.
It goes because Lord of the Rings has a very soft magic system, and as well the main way it seems to work is more you just talk to nature and try and convince it to do what you want it to do, basically. So like the main example I know is when they're trying to go across the pass through the mountains, and like it's basically just Caradhras. It's basically just a verbal battle between Gandalf and Saruman at that point is what's happening. Which is kind of quite, because basically they're talking to the mountain going, Saruman's going, just avalanche, you want to, bro, and Gandalf's there like, don't avalanche us, please. Whereas this wizard fight is much more like, I can use the Force. It's just, it's a bit jarring compared to the rest of it. But then later, like, other things will happen. But one thing, I feel this must have been a bit of like, the Game of Thrones back in its day, because like, as far as two main characters die in this.
Yeah, it does a very, for the Fellowship of the Ring, they, by the end of the film, they're like, Fellowship's fucked.
I mean, that's what I was wondering. After we finished watching the film again together, I wondered if people genuinely watched that film and not many people actually read the books and genuinely thought Gandalf was dead. I wonder
And so one person I know who like doesn't really know much about Lord of the Rings, when watching it and not really paying attention, we're just like, Dumbledore's dead. So
was this the same person who saw Rogue One and couldn't wait for the sequel?
Rogue One 2.
That's quite. I mean, it's off the books, but it's still an interesting thing to think about, because us watching through, we're just.
Because none of the other members of the Fellowship died. There were like side characters who died, but there's that scene in the third one where they all come in laughing in that bedroom.
Which scene? Oh yes, of course, yeah.
And Merry and Pippin are the same size as Gandalf at the door. I really want Boromir to come back in that scene. That would have been so fun. He just pulls out the arrows.
And then he walks in holding hands with the Uruk-hai who killed him. That's right, we're friends now. Well, the Uruk-hai birthing process is disgusting.
It's just so dirty.
I know.
The music's great as well for that.
Yeah.
Just want to say Howard Shore's score is so good. Like it's one of the best film scores. All three working together. Oh, it's so good.
What are you talking about? It's Enya.
Oh yeah, of course. Enya.
Howard Shore.
Enya did the music to this, according to someone. But
well, why does she think that again?
it's because her parents told her that.
Oh right, I see.
She doesn't have the heart.
Is there any song by Enya in the film?
Yeah, it's the credits song.
Oh right, I see.
Yeah. But yeah, the music's really good. The way it can you're with the elves and the music can just completely change.
Some of we've not had it yet, but some of my favourite music will be when we see Minas Tirith. It's just that whole music.
I love the Riders.
I remember the first time
you. Roman's one of my favourite.
That's
themes.
great. Yeah, I remember the first time you see Minas Tirith in the third one. I think it's when you literally you're like behind a hill and you get to the top, and then it's right in front of you over a field.
We have seen it in this film.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Because Gandalf does go there. But
yeah. The one thing that confuses me about this film is like at the very beginning when Gandalf's researching, he like flies across the country and back. Like I say, country, Middle Earth, like very quickly.
Yeah. I guess that's the rest to show that time has passed.
Yeah.
If you know the distances, and that's like, that's like a I don't know, however long.
But it's just a bit weird, like that it's so little time for him to, in film terms, to travel that much difference, whereas the rest of the film it like expands it out more. If that makes sense.
This is because Gandalf is just a dick. He points at the eagles, took the eagles back, and just didn't offer that again when it was actually important.
The men hunt eagles, so they never fly over. Yes, they wouldn't fly near Minas Tirith.
See, the thing is, do you remember our old chemistry teacher? One of the greatest things about him was he once came up with this really cool theory. I don't know if you read it, and it was basically about why they couldn't take the eagles, and it was like basically you imagine that the eagle's nest is on the pass of Caradhras, and what's his name? Gandalf wanted to go there, but didn't tell any of the Fellowship in case I don't know, one of them was spies for Sauron or Saruman or something like that. Kept it to himself, but his idea was that he was going to get to the top of Caradhras, then take the eagles. But then they couldn't, and they had to go through Mora instead. So his plan was to go through Mora and then come back to the top from the other side of the mountain. And then couldn't do that because he got taken away. And there's also that line where he says, "Fly, you fools," and that's his way of saying, "Take the eagles."
I don't see that as take the eagles.
To be fair,
I know. But it's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's an interpretation.
But the thing is, earlier he also told.
It's complete bullshit. You say, isn't it?
Earlier when he's just telling them to run, he says, "Fly, fly." This might be an extended thing. But it probably just means run. So run. Which, by the way, the two death scenes are very well done, very sad. Especially Boromir's one is like, oh my god.
Yeah,
just. I would have followed you, my friend, my captain, my king.
I know.
My heart.
I love that fight scene as well. I love the fact that like people constantly are about to die in real life in the making of these films. As the hit away the sword, as the Sam running barefoot into the water, cutting his feet on glass.
There's none of the like stunt people doing the Uruks and Orcs. They never wanted to be fighting against Aragorn. What's the actor's name? Vigo. Yeah.
Hey!
I knew that was fucking.
I saw the racist emo.
Because he hit really hard and they just come back bruised and injured from any scene with him. But yeah, there's a I imagine it's a quote from the book that will come later, but it's about Boromir and it's Pippin talking to Denethor, and it's him saying, even a great man can be killed by one arrow. Boromir fell to many.
Is this pre or post Cherry Tomatoes?
I think it's pre. I think it's
Yeah.
pre. It's in like him like telling the news to him first.
That's such a great line.
Yeah.
Have you read the books?
I
I've read all three.
No, I just have a random knowledge of random quotes.
The third one's to be the longest. I read the first two actually quite quickly, and the third one I think I read because and I've told you this guys but each of the three books are split into part 1 and part 2.
They're split into books actually.
They are split into books, yeah. And what's really
probably
cool
why it
is
works so well in the extended edition of the 2 CDs, because that's how it's
it cuts it like right after the Fellowship is like properly like formed. You will be the Fellowship.
That is the perfect point. I think when we were watching it, that's when we stopped. We watched it in 2 parts.
Yeah, we did. And the book again, I think the first book is probably the worst book. As in the first book of the first book is the worst of all 6 books, because it is just them getting from the Shire to Bryn. It's not that interesting, and it ends with Frodo getting stabbed by one of the Nazgul. That's how the first book ends. But what's really cool about the second and third book is that when the Fellowship split, you have one book from Legolas, Aragorn, and Gimli's point of view, and then one from Frodo and Sam. And I think I always preferred the Aragorn ones for some reason, because I just don't like Frodo as a character very much. But and that was always the first one, and then you have Frodo and Sam as part 2, and then in the third book, the again it starts off with let's call him Vigo, and then it ends as they get to the Black Gate, so you don't actually see that battle in the books. And then afterwards, it's wherever they are about to climb up those steps to go into Mordor. But I can't remember what I was originally saying, actually. What was I talking about? Do you remember? Before I went on this tangent about the books.
Just the book.
That was the...
No, but we would... it will come back to me.
Anyway, can I just say because this is a strength of the film and all 3 films in general, but you might disagree. When you say that you're very interested in like Middle Earth and stuff, I do not give a shit. Like, I don't really like fantasy. I'm not that invested. I don't like I've never seen Game of Thrones.
You're a massive sci-fi guy.
I like sci-fi. It's a better genre.
But don't you think they're hand in hand?
Not really. I guess I prefer the future.
2 sides of the same coin.
Anyway,
I'll say 2 sides of the same coin.
Yeah, but I prefer one side of the coin with way more such a face. I'd rather not die. I'm not that into fantasy. So like, look, I've tried to read the books. I'll probably try again. I wasn't a big fan, but like these films work as just a bare bones like very easy to follow. There's good, there's evil. You know, here are your characters. They're all pretty interesting. They have a very obvious goal, and it's more about the kind of the quests they get up to. It's not, you don't really have to be that invested in like the wider context of the world and like, oh, this person's traveling from here to here. I think the films do a really good job of you being able to enjoy them even if you don't give a shit about that kind of thing.
And that's fair enough, but I think that you have to be in love with the world to read the books.
Yeah, but the world of these films is New Zealand. It's the sweeping landscapes and vistas.
But my point is, I don't think you should read the books if you have no interest in the world and the context behind anything.
I mean, I enjoy the films because they're well-made films and stories well told. If the books are told as well as the films are.
I mean, they're told better. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm still saying he spends a lot of time in every location in the books describing it, so you have this completely vivid vision of where you are, and that's one of the strengths. But if you don't care about Middle-earth as a place and just about the story or whatever it is you worry about, then I don't think you would really like the books that much.
I mean, I'll give them another try because
I don't think you'll get past book 1 because it is very much just
I'll give it a try.
four hobbits walking somewhere.
But you know, as a film, this works really well because obviously this isn't the books, this is the film. You have to visually interpret all those descriptions, and I think it's varied enough. I think the music massively benefits each location in the way the kind of Star Wars score does. Like each planet's got its own kind of completely different soundscape. And obviously the performances are really great. Apart from Legolas, you know, maybe I just don't like elves and I don't like Orlando Bland, but the two of them merging make a very bad character.
No, but his dialogue is always just
exposition.
Orcs, the Fawn of Gondor. That's all his lines.
He doesn't even have that many lines in the extended version.
That's the thing, right? I watched a video on YouTube of all of his spoken lines, and I watched it just for Fellowship. And every line is just pointing out the bloody obvious. It's the only thing he does.
Yeah. He is a bit Captain Obvious.
The reading I take is he's a massive fanboy. Because he's young for an elf. This is like his first day out, basically. So once you realise that, basically, he's like just going around, just kind of. This is him experiencing life for the first time. So it's just like, oh, that is Aragorn, king. And then he's just like. Orcs, orcs. Yeah. These guys.
Then I hope you accept my interpretation about why they can't take the eagles to Mordor.
The film
he sees Gandalf fall down, just like, oh, when will he meet up with us later? Because he doesn't understand death. Because that's not really a thing in our culture. You get like when you realise like Boromir dying is the first person he sees die. It's unfortunate there's not. He just sort of stands in the background. And,
I would also like to point out that in the Hobbit films, he's in a massive battle in the third one, so he sees a lot of death.
Yeah, that's why the Hobbit films shouldn't be canon. Because they completely ruin the fact that Boromir is the first person he sees die.
They make him too cool as well. Like each film, they make him progressively cooler and cooler. Like in the second one, he's like skateboarding. He's climbing up an elephant, taking it. And then by the final Hobbit film, he's doing God knows what. He's pretty flying around like Iron Man. They make him too cool.
Oh, I kind of like that the elves were like seen as like this, you know, way more badass sort of race, you know.
I like the elves. I think they're great. I like Lothlorien. It's just an epic treehouse, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what's so cool about it.
I know.
I like some of the effects they haven't aged particularly well.
No, you don't like the Amumma in the third film when Legolas is climbing on them. You think that looks.
It's pretty good mostly for the effect work because they did use a lot of practical stuff, but like and also there's the sweeping shots where the camera's doing things that no camera could actually do. You know, going through places which don't exist. It looks so much better than the prequels which are coming out at the same time.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, compare this to
some of the CG does not hold up.
But but it like following the Crebain as you like dive down into the caves beneath Isengard.
I actually think most of the CGI is pretty well done. It's only maybe one or two places. Yeah. I think the cave troll looks a bit naff.
It's a bit rubbery.
Compare it to the Harry Potter one though from Philosopher's Stone, which is again a similar time. It looks miles better.
Yeah.
And by similar time, you mean the exact same year actually, 2001, I think. Yeah.
Because these films were so successful, it was like a fantasy boom in cinema. Like suddenly. This and Harry Potter come out the same year and are like the two of the highest grossing films. And then you get Percy Jackson films getting made, the Narnia books trying to be adapted. Like this started a craze.
Yeah, I'm kind of annoyed by that because I think the Narnia books are probably really, really good, and I feel like the films didn't do them justice.
Well, they started on the second one, didn't they?
No, Prince Caspian's the second book, I think, and they started off.
Yeah, but they start with Lion Witch, don't they?
Yeah, but that's not the second book. I think that's maybe the fourth or something like that. I want to say. I will search that up because I don't want to be. I don't want to lie.
Magician's Nephew.
Yeah, Magician's Nephew.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Prince Caspian's the second one, but I will check that one. And that was the second film as well.
Ethan's left. He's left the pod.
There's some great lines I love in this film.
Yeah,
So,
my favorite one is when Elrond he's talking about the ring and he says, "I was there when the strength of men failed." It's such a cool line. I'm like, holy fuck. He's old.
Men are weak is said like so many times in all these films.
Yeah, I love just him saying men are weak, and then there's a scene later where Aragorn is saying how he is weak, and I just think it's because he's been living in Rivendell so long. Before every meal, Elrond is just like, men are weak.
Maybe
so he's just internalized.
Viggo Mortensen doing Green Book was because he had played Aragorn in the surrounded by the elves. So he knew what it was like to be, racially abused. Perceived.
Some other. Well, just they have a cave troll. Just delivered by, Sean Bean. Just so kind of like matter-of-factly, but with just an air of,
Yeah, see, again, when Boromir says, okay, have a cave troll, when he's pointing out the obvious, I just think he has a much better job, and he's cooler than Legolas, just goes, Gondor.
It's because he's a better actor.
Yeah, I guess that's probably it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't have to be massively invested in the world to care about these characters and to care about what they're doing. Because it is just like a D&D campaign.
Yeah,
very much like just they all show up at this council meeting, and then it's just like, right, so the adventure party for this is a king in exile, 2 princes, like the son of a noble, a wizard who's actually
the wizard's the DM.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
But he's also because he's like he's a literal servant of the gods.
Yeah, there's a massive argument about what class is Gandalf, and no one thinks he's a wizard.
Maybe Gandalf's the NPC. He's meant to guide them.
I was going to say that the Merry and Pippin were annoying NPC follow-alongs. But yeah.
So really quickly, the Narnia books were published in a different order to which they are meant to be read. So The Magician's Nephew is meant to be read first, and then The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and then Horse and His Boy, Prince Caspian number 4, so that's completely wrong, and then Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and Silverchair, and then The Last Battle.
Voyage of the Dawn Treader, you know that?
Yeah, of course I do. But the original publication order, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was the first one written, and then Prince Caspian, and then in the order that the films released, which is kind of strange.
Maybe they looked at the wrong list.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe they were hoping they could do the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else I quite like about the Lord of the Rings films? I feel like, well, I mean, obviously we talk about the story. It's just a couple of people trying to get a ring into a volcano, and that spans 3 films. I feel like each film has their own internal storyline about a group forming and then at the end splitting. Like it has its own arc within a story rather than just being a quest where at the end of the first book it just stops.
Well, this is the most coherent.
There's a turning point in the first book, and that's at the end.
3 just throws you in at the deep end because obviously it's 3. 2 doesn't really resolve because it can't. So this, if you were to watch one standalone, this does have a beginning, middle, and end more than any other of the films.
It's the Star Wars thing again.
That's why it's the best one.
Yeah, same with Star Wars.
We'll get to the end of this podcast. If you don't think it's the best one anymore, you'd have changed your mind.
I mean, I'm feeling pretty bad about Return of the King at the moment, so I'm not a big fan of the end of that film.
It's the best one.
It's too long.
Yeah, imagine what the director's cut.
The extended edition is like over 4 hours.
Watch it over 2 days, that'd be fine.
Pretty long once upon a time in America.
I think it would be 3 discs.
4 hours and 20 minutes, I want to say, maybe something like that.
It's too long.
My plan is to watch the extended editions for the last 2 because I've got the extended editions of those.
Oh god!
So that will be a new experience for me.
I just like the theatrical versions. I feel like
yeah,
they're decent. I don't feel like I'm missing too much.
I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know if this is different to the theatrical release, but like I thought it was like the sort of cinema release of. I think it's the second one, the one where Aragorn goes off and gets all those ghost soldiers, right? Yeah, they just like, oh, okay, maybe it's the third one. Like, I swear there's one cut of the film that just doesn't have him going and getting them. Like, he just appears with a ghost army.
If wouldn't it be great if you had that? And then because that scene starts off with a Cockney orc going, "Hello, who's here? Where are these boats coming from?" And Aragorn just jumps off with a sword. And these ghosts, like an army of them, just comes pouring out of the boats. That'd be quite funny.
There is some ridiculous fighting that Aragorn does. Like, there's a bit where he just jumps off like a stone roof, just shouting "Elendil!"
Yes!
Wait, is that in this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Oh,
right where a bit before Boromir dies, just that sort of fight.
He just jumps down, screaming Elendil, and just lands on something.
But Elendil, that word means something. I can't remember what it is.
They say it earlier. I've forgotten it.
Because he is King Elisar, isn't it? That's his king name. Elendil, I swear that's his sword name over the sword, the one that got broken and then repaired.
No, isn't that Isildur's Bane? Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah, but doesn't it?
No.
But you know how Joffrey has a sword? It's not Joffrey's
Oh,
sword.
okay.
It's the shards of Narsil though. That get reforged into.
Yeah, but don't
something
they?
else.
Oh, maybe. I feel like they come together to have its own proper name again. I swear it's. I don't know what Elendil. I want to find that out.
Oh well. This is going to be the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy is arguing about Elvish words. Melon.
Melon.
I love that if Gandalf hadn't been translating that for the rest of the group, and if he just said that out in Elvish, they would have got in. It's slightly weird just to have the password written on your door.
I mean, to be fair, it's the one place they least expect.
Yeah.
Right, how much more do we have to say about it?
Nothing that I couldn't recap at the end.
It's
I thought, Elendil is like a character. He's
Oh, is it Isildur's dad? Or his son, maybe?
So, yeah.
It is his dad, isn't it? Yeah, you play as him like a Lord of the Rings, I'm pretty sure.
He is the father of Isildur.
Cast the ring into the fire. Elendil! Isildur. So, I mean, that battle took place 3,000 years ago, so that guy's really old, isn't he?
Yeah, he's... Aragorn is quite far removed from...
Yeah, quite far removed.
to be fair, it's
Also-
not revealed in this film, but Aragorn is old.
We'll talk about it in Return of the King, but I still stand at that shot of Denethor on fire jumping off of the thing is one of the best shots of all three films. And when it pans out
It's
to
funny.
the battle below night.
I just love from the Third Age game, just
Denethor.
for context, it's like the game is just you are following behind the Fellowship basically.
Oh, that's that one.
Fighting those things. And just the cutscene when you get to the top of Gondor City and you just see Denethor on fire running past.
It's like
And
Tarkovsky.
the Gondor captain, who's one of your characters, just goes, "It is Elendil." No, it's fuck. It's Denethor. Jumps off the edge, he just turns, faces where he's just jumped off, and puts his hand on his heart. And then Gandalf just comes along and just because he's been kicked out of Gondor or whatever. It's guess you're no longer kicked out of the city. Better go and get that banner. It's just such a.
If Dan Cooper has to listen to any of our podcasts, it has to be this one. These three films. 'Cause he's fucking in them, isn't he?
That's true, that cherry tomato.
Those cherry tomatoes, plural. Well, that's what I thought was the best one. It's got Pippin singing that song while Faramir goes down.
I do quite like that bit. Don't I?
It is a great bit.
The second one's just got it's got more Gimli, They realised
It's also got more work to
They realised that Joe Rhys Davis is just the best, and we should just give him all the
At
lines.
the end of the
Possible razor sharp.
at the end of all the films, all the cast got Lord of the Rings tattoos, apart from I forget his name. Even when you
John
said
Rhys
it.
Davis,
John
yeah.
Rhys Davis. He didn't get one. He didn't want one, so he got his stunt double to get one. It's just such a move.
Going back to what we were talking about earlier, could you imagine if Daniel Day-Lewis comes out of retirement to play Hugo Weaving's character in Mortal Engines?
What was the worst film that Daniel Day could come out of retirement for?
Suicide Squad 2.
He's playing Genshin.
The man who can climb anything. It's coming back for him. His head blows up. Anyway.
If they made a sequel to Goal 3.
Go 4.
Yeah, Goal 4. This one's animated.
What about Mod 3? Alright.
There's a few pieces of trivia, that I think I know about Lord of the Rings. There's one which is you know how Gimli he asks for a lock of hair from Galadriel, right? We got that right.
Yeah.
There's a bit where Legolas looks really like cool, look at you being a cool guy. And there's a whole like extended thing in the Silmarillion which I've read like a bit of before it overwhelmed my brain and I fucking died. There's a bit where I think it follows this elf Fëanor, who's like the fucking biggest badass of all time, you know, back then, who was really cool, and he was like, "Yo, can I have some of your hair, Galadriel?" Because apparently that's the thing people want. And then he gets like rejected. He's like, "No, you're not a bad enough guy to get some of my hair." And but Galadriel gives it to Gimli, and that's just a cool thing. It's like, yeah, what a cool guy.
I was gonna say that is one of the things that is in the extended, but not the theatrical. We don't see the giving of the gifts.
Oh, okay.
That's true, yeah.
Oh man, that's like they just appear out of nowhere then, I guess.
I completely forgot.
So
We don't see
Frodo
her get Frodo receive the light, do we? We don't see that, do we?
He just has the light in the third one.
That's kind of important.
That is kind of important.
That's the fucking giving out the magic items to the
if
party.
you watch the shorter version, that's why you watch the third version, he just has this thing.
I mean, I think
it's
he
a
does
very.
get
I don't think
flashbacks
it's not that.
because there's
Yeah,
I don't know,
I think
but-
there is a flashback because it definitely.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being jarring.
Is Sam's gift like
Rope.
rope? It is,
Yeah,
isn't it? That's
rope.
what I remember it being, yeah.
Oh
In the
my
book.
god! I'm just remembering the bit in one of them where the cloak that becomes a rock.
Yeah, because she says
They all
it's
get given
because they are cloaks. I'm pretty sure this is referenced in the D&D magic items fucking section. There's a cloak of Elvenkind, right? Basically, it's just a cloak that makes it. She hands it out and says, "Here's this cloak that will avert unfriendly eyes." Like that's the point. That it is like a magic cloak that makes you hide
Giant
better.
spider, invisibility cloaks. Come on.
So they also have a nice like leaf thing that
Yeah.
is the clasp that later is something either Mary or Pippin dropped.
Yeah.
Also, I think you'll find that Harry Potter is just Lord of the Rings. Because
Yeah.
Harry Potter's probably written, in the 90s or something?
Just
Yeah.
I mean, they did modernize it,
Yeah.
and it's also more for kids.
Yeah, fair enough. Like the whole.
That's the thing. I was thinking for Mediate 2, I might pick the Lord of the Rings books and force you all to read those.
Or you can pick one book per month.
One book per month.
Yeah.
I can't do the entire 1,500 page book.
No, you can pick just pick the third one.
I can pick the New Testament if I want, right?
You
No.
can
Make
pick,
you
you
read
can
half of the
pick
Bible.
certain books from the New Testament.
Certain books.
Yeah, like Book of David.
We're not fucking reviewing the Bible on Mediate.
Oh, like the Quran, then.
We'll read Tommy Robinson's interpretation of the Quran. All right.
No, I'll make you read the Christchurch Manifesto.
Okay, time to wrap up.
Fuck's sake.
Johnny, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I will. I just it's a great film. It's got some great lines. It's both to me very funny, but in a way that doesn't feel like it comes at a detriment to the film. So
Yeah.
even when I'm
It's
laughing at
in-universe
its goofs-
funny.
Yeah, even like some of it's in universe funny. Even the bits that I find goofy, like the wizard battle and all that. Like I wouldn't have it any other way. It's
Yeah.
just- So I think I'm gonna go for a 9 for this. I
Yeah.
also just want to mention like Sam and just how great he is,
Sam.
and
The main
his
character.
final lines of like, because Frodo's like, "I'm going to Mordor alone, Sam," and then his just response of, "Yeah, and I'm coming with you."
Yeah,
It's
it's a
just
shame that
such
he
a-
drowned straight off.
Yeah, it was that when I was like realized, oh yeah, this film to the casual viewer has killed off 2 people. Imagine if it just killed off Sam. Just oh.
That would be quite tragic if Sam died.
Yeah.
Where's the final line of this film? Is it Let's Hunt Some More?
It might be.
No, it's something that I'm sure that Frodo or Sam say to each other just as they walk
I
in.
think so, yeah.
I'm sure Frodo says something, Sam says something like, "Oh, we got a long journey ahead of us," or something like
Oh yeah.
It's something
I think
like
that
that,
was it.
yeah.
I love Let's Hunt Some More so much though. That's why the second one's so good. You just get the 3 of them just orc hunting.
that.
Yeah.
Stumbling on Lake Town in D&D, you know, there's a king, you know, these are it's great.
Yeah.
In fact, do you remember how in the second one they also claim that Aragorn might be dead? By then they'll have just killed off half of the
Oh, yeah.
fellowship. If Sam drowned, Gandalf stayed dead, Boromir was gone, and Aragorn falls off a cliff, he's gone.
This is a tangent, but one of my least favourite moments in a film where they pretended the character was dead was in Black Panther. Like, I saw the trailer for Infinity War before this film. Where he's like in it a lot.
To be fair, Marvel does do that. They do fake out characters being alive.
There's a bit where you think that Black Panther's dead.
Yeah,
like he
falls off the cliff
and he falls off that waterfall, and the film just acts like 15 minutes that he's died.
Does that happen?
Yeah.
It's
like no. Anyway, I'm gonna give it a 9 as well. It's my favourite.
About Black Panther.
What are you giving Lord of the Rings?
7. Probably the best of them. Although Two Towers, I do have a soft spot for Two Towers, but yeah, this is probably the best.
I'll sneak my score in here quickly. Yeah, I think it's really good. Again, we've sort of talked a whole lot of nothing. I say a whole lot of nothing. We've talked about patchwork bits and pieces of Lord of the Rings, just because it's so wide and so broad, this universe, and you don't. But again, I think I will agree with Harry. It sort of deftly weaves it in. I would say it's not like it doesn't feel like heavy-handed with trying to give you this entire fucking universe that you have to memorize so that you can like understand anything taking place.
So it helps that it now has just become the standard fantasy world.
Yeah, it does.
I find like you enjoy the films first, then you enjoy all the other stuff after. But you can, the films.
No. I just almost in a way that like Star Wars has expanded. I think Lord of the Rings like almost is. I'm okay to have it just be this film because it does such a good job of using the world, whereas Star Wars, I'm like, I guess I accept it more that it's sort of branded off and done loads of other things.
Yeah, Star Wars isn't that interesting.
Fair enough.
Like there have been some good writers who have like done some cool stuff with the world. The world is pretty basic.
Sorry, what were we talking about?
Whereas Lord of the Rings, I see it feels more grand. Although
yeah.
That Amazon TV series is gonna suck.
What, the Boba Fett one with Pablo Pascal?
No, they're making a Lord of the Rings TV show. Amazon.
Sorry, I thought we were talking about Star Wars for some reason.
We were
and the Hobbit's back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I think this film, again, one of its main strengths is even though it's so wide, it feels like a lot of stuff happens. It feels like it does a good job of getting to the point and setting up the point, and like it's basically just a whole load of extended chase scenes, which is really like when you're having a film that's about people getting from A to B, which is essentially what it is.
They don't go back to A again, do they? Afterwards.
Well, they do in the books, Ethan.
Yeah, I know.
It's a whole thing.
No. They set up camp at Mordor. They just lived the rest of their life out there.
But yeah, the chase scenes, which are most of this film, like the various ones, going through Moria, going over the mountain, and then going back, or getting chased through the forest. Like it has a really good sort of build up and then release of like, okay, they're being chased by the ring raids, who are like, stab Frodo, but then they rest with Strider, and then it sort of follows that, that rhythm through it, and it's really, really engaging despite being as long as it is. I'm definitely looking forward to see where this series goes. I have no idea what will happen. Will they get the ring into the fire? Who knows? Will men be weak? Maybe. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. I was very, very considering 10 during Boromir's death. Boromir, right? Boromir's death scene. I was like, oh no, this is so sad.
A little thing. I don't know if it's more spelt out in the extended edition, but Aragorn puts on Boromir's braces and just has those for the rest of the trilogy.
Unless Ethan gives this a 7, I think that's going to beat Star Wars.
So speaking of Boromir's death, you know what would be quite cool if there was a version of Boys in the Hood where
Get shot by arrows.
Yeah, it's just an hurricane just shoot them down.
I really love. You don't get much of the character of Lurtz, which is something that this film purely made, and he's not from the books. But just there's something so interesting about the little bits we do get from him, especially this final bit where all the rest of the Uruks run on, and then he just goes up to the dying body of Boromir and just readies another arrow to finish him off.
Yes.
That's such a good character moment for just some evil bastard. Basically.
In fact, leading up to that, it probably has one of my. It's not a very particularly complex shot, but it's one of my favourite shots in the entire trilogy, where there's basically it goes down to their legs and you see an army of orcs running past, and then a pair of legs that are walking much slower by Boromir, and then that one stops as all the orcs leave, and then I think it pans up or it just zooms out or something like that, and it reveals Lurtz.
I must say, it's amusing that the one person in the Fellowship who has a shield gets shot full of arrows because he didn't have a shield on him.
Yeah, anyway, so...
This Frodo could have a shield.
In the very same way that Star Wars Universe is very much a thing that Johnny is really interested in, I think Middle-earth is mine. I know all the names of the places. I've looked at that fucking map millions of times to just know the geography. I know it by heart. Yeah, it probably is that in capital cities. I think maybe.
So what's the capital cities of the various places in
Let's not do this.
I think I might know like one or two. Anyway. Yeah, I like the fact that within the space of one continent, the geography and landscape changes so much. You have snowy areas, you have, volcanic areas in Mordor.
You have New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what that is.
It's just great.
Yeah, New Zealand's pretty damn good. I mean, those films are basically just a massive tourist effort.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
That and Taika Waititi's filmography.
Yeah. I mean, that will be even more a thing when we come to talk about the third one. There's that great montage where you see all of the beacons getting lit, and it's just like, New Zealand just looks beautiful.
Light the beacons!
Maybe I do like the
Yeah. So coming into this, I was going to give this film an 8, but I think I'm actually going to give it a 9 just talking about it. And I was going to give it an 8 because I think I remember it slightly more fondly from watching it all those years ago to now, where I kind of I've seen more good films since, and some of them flaws are more apparent in with dialogue and exposition and stuff like that. But no, I'll give it a 9 because it's a really, really good adventure film.
36.
That's
very high.
That's what 9 times 4 is, Harry.
Yeah. So we've got Portal 2, Empire, Rage Against the Machine, Fellowship.
Sorry, say those again?
Portal 2, 39, Empire Strikes Back, 38, 36, Rage, Inception, Fellowship.
Is Portal 2 still the highest one then?
Yeah, until we do
12 Angry Fucking Men.
12 Angry Films, you mean?
If I watch it again and you will give it a 10, I'm just there like, that's 4 out.
Alright. Is that it?
Yeah.
I always thought of something I wanted to say at the moment.
Hobbiton's really good. I like the little houses.
Yeah, that's the...
Gandalf fashion there. Ian McKellen's great.
Is it secret, is it so?
Yeah. The jump scare. The bit where Ian McKellen looks sad and Frodo says, "I would take the ring." You know.
Yeah.
Do you remember? There's the part we forgot to mention where Bilbo is like, "It's mine." We even talk about that.
So Hobbiton is important because it shows what you need to fight for in this world, sort of similar with Rivendell. So that's why that's at the start, and kind of the importance of that. That expression that Ian McKellen does of just when Frodo says he'll take it, of just the mixture of because he's proud but he's really sad, and he's a great actor to get so many emotions in one expression.
Yeah, there's another moment like that that's really...
You bastard, I was going to just make that.
There's another moment like that where he's come back with the research that fire will reveal whether the Ring of Power is the Ring of Power, and he throws it into the flame and it's like, oh, there's nothing. It's just a regular old magic ring, and it's like, and he says like nothing, and so there's like this look of relief of like, oh, phew. But then he says, wait, and he's like, there's something writing, and he's like, oh, fuck.
I like as well, he puts it in the fire, takes it out with tongs, and then just puts it in Frodo's hand, going, it won't be hot. He doesn't know. He's just guessing.
It's because he's a dick to hobbits. It's just that.
What he hears, like,
he's a friend of hobbits.
Also, that's the thing. Sam's the gardener, and he's just doing his job again. I was like, no, I know your punishment.
Think it through though. They were drinking in a pub and they were leaving and like said goodbye. Like my interpretation is Sam was so drunk he just kind of passed out in the bush.
Yeah,
and just like wakes up halfway through, rustles a bit, and so he is trying to think up an excuse. I mean, he is the gardener. Why would you be gardening at midnight?
Exactly. And Gandalf thinks the best punishment, the best 1-to-1 ratio for what he did, is just to get him to go on this perilous journey across a continent where he could very well.
To be fair, at that moment, he is only thinking they'll have to go to.
That is
Riven.
True. That is true.
Bree. Fuck.
All right.
One last thing. Actually, no. I'll go into the character of Gandalf in the second one.
Yeah.
Good film.
Yeah.